The belief in an authentic self seems almost universal, as if under a layer of appearances there were some true self ready-made, just waiting to be unearthed like an artifact in an archaeological dig. However, the supposition of an innate personal identity is not self-evident. Indeed, queer theorist Judith Butler questions to what extent regulatory practices of gender formation and division constitute identity, arguing that the notion of an abiding substance, and thus an abiding self, is a fictive construction produced through the compulsory ordering of attributes into coherent gender sequences. Butler cites Nietzsche's On the Genealogy of Morals, which further contends that there is no being behind doing, affecting, becoming. The doer is merely a fiction added to the deed. The deed is everything. Growing up in and around the theater, I've always struggled with the idea of finding my authentic self. After all, if I could put down one personality and pick up another at a moment's notice, then who's to say where the acting stops and I begin? In Trickster Makes This World, Mischief, Myth, and Art, Lewis Hyde reflects on how, if Odysseus can play so many roles, if he can play a part, as Athena once says, as if it were his own tough skin, then who is the real Odysseus? If the Norse trickster Loki can appear as a bird, a flea, a horse, and a fire, then who is the real Loki? It is our habit to imagine a true self behind the shifting images, but it is sometimes difficult to know if that self is really there or just the product of our imaginings. I had long affairs with absurdism and nihilism, and I've had phases of wishing I didn't have a body. Perhaps being a brain in a vat, or becoming an incorporeal haze, or entering virtual reality. Centrally, I felt masculinity was painfully prescriptive, that its mandates were constrictive and effacing. Directives to man up or be a man made it first difficult to cry, and then difficult to feel. I wandered through the world like a shell, longing to unleash my authentic self, but not knowing where that true self might be or what he would look like. As it turns out, he was a girl. Accepting myself as trans, I was finally able to realize that having a body and being in the world could be full of joy and wonder. Taking a playful approach to gender and blossoming in the space beyond the lives I was told were accessible to me. The space between the standard categories of gender I was presented with allowed me to finally have fun with my presentation and care about how I moved through the world, giving me the space to let my devious little self run free.
This one could be better.
How so?
I don't know. You could be nicer.
The people, the planet.
Specifically the people. But we live in a context. We didn't fall out of a coconut tree.
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's no surprise, then, that the archetype of trickster resonates with me so profoundly. Trickster figures prominently in mythology and folklore, from the Norse trickster Loki to the Greek Hermes and Roman Mercury, African spider trickster Anansi and his African-American counterpart Aunt Nancy, Native American coyote, and Chinese monkey. As Jacob Glazier notes, other common examples of this avatar have taken the form of clowns, jesters, jokers, or fools, whose intention seems to be to destabilize the status quo, usually with the aim of creating change. Even if you're not up to speed on your mythology and folklore, you've likely encountered trickster figures in popular culture. Loki, Deadpool, and Joker are but a few examples from superhero media alone. Other examples of tricksters in pop culture include characters like Bill Cipher, Bugs Bunny, Cheshire Cat, and the fantastic Mr. Fox. These characters overturn reality with their wiles and sleights, showing it to have been mere facade from the start. According to Glazier, the trickster is particularly apropos for a discussion of gender and sexuality in regards to queerness because of its almost always ambiguous or polymorphous gender and sexuality, and its political animality or incessant thrust towards transgressing sexual and erotic cultural taboos in a way that is uncanny, perverse, flamboyant, and unsettled. That is, queer. Trickster exemplifies the fugitive character of the queer ethos, perpetually existing beyond the limits of socially sanctioned behaviors and possibilities. They are the archetypal shifter, not just of shape, but also of meaning and of reality, reveling in contradiction and uncertainty. Trickster is a liar, a thief, a wanderer. But according to Lewis Hyde, when trickster lies and steals, it isn't so much to get away with something or get rich as to disturb the established categories of truth, and by doing so, open a road to possible new worlds. So too with queerness, in its unrelenting quest to disturb an oppressive status quo. Queer experiences of gender and sexuality open the door for free expression, thereby mitigating the harms of psychic and social repression. Concealing a core identity has negative psychological impacts, and coming out of the closet gives queer and trans people the opportunity to live authentic lives, even as it opens us up to discrimination from the outside. The queer seeks to unsettle the settled, and in so doing follows trickster in creating new possibilities for livable modes of being. I hope to reflect queer and trickster in and through one another, reproducing the infinite mirroring of mutual signification between the two ethics. I believe that trickster practices of destabilization and queer ethics of anti-normativity can serve as productive processes for breaking us free from the strictures of structure and open us up to truths inaccessible through reason and formalism.
Yeah. What do you think the meaning of life is?
Does there have to be just one?
I feel like there should be at least one.
I feel like people are as good a meaning as any.
Why people? What makes you say people?
According to Lewis Hyde, trickster is the mythic embodiment of ambiguity and ambivalence, doubleness and duplicity, contradiction and paradox. Trickster straddles the boundaries of oppositions, refusing to accede to either side of the binary, and instead crossing over or living between, existing at once as both subject and object, figure and ground, thesis and antithesis, proposition and negation. For Hyde, it is clear that our ideas depend on a set of assumptions about how the world is divided up. Tricksters' lies and thefts challenge those premises, and in so doing reveal their artifice and suggest alternatives. We often try to over-determine the boundaries of concepts and entities, and yet resistance always resides at the border where conceptual categories collide and unequivocal determinations are impossible. The empty space between designations, between labels like gay and straight, good and bad, being and non-being, is precisely where both queer and trickster reside. at a certain point, doing more things or having more stuff just isn't enough. What matters is the people you spend your days with and how you're able to exist with them. I feel like the more I think about gender, the more I understand it as a way of being in the world, a kind of style of existence. And it's only able to come about through our interactions with other people. Like, if you were stuck on a desert island, I don't think you'd have a gender. Queerness seems to be uniquely attuned to the warp and weft of the trickster ethos. Queer theorist David Halperin remarks that queer is whatever is at odds with the normal, the legitimate, the dominant. The discipline of queer theory, then, is distinctly characterized by a rejection of normativity. It seeks to expose and break down binaristic structures that impel individuals to conform to hegemonic standards or suffer punishment. As is regrettably the case, failing to adhere to gender standards always carries with it the threat of violence, in bathrooms, in healthcare, in public, and beyond. For queer theorists, it is through the indiscriminate application of norms and uninterrupted disregard for particularity that normativity realizes its harms and makes the case for its own deconstruction. Both queers and tricksters play by the same rules. That is, their own rules, or sometimes no rules at all. Playing in the fertile space of contradiction and paradox, queers and tricksters mix what ought not be mixed, therein producing the fusion and fission necessary for the restructuring of ideas, practices, societies, and realities. Like, the meaning of life? Life is hard. But there are people out there who make it bearable, who make it worth living. People like you.
Oh. I don't know what to say.
Maybe, like, you're cool too, I guess.
You're alright.
Hey, watch it.
Maybe we should go to bed.
Careful what you wish for. Hey.
Hi.
Are you doing okay?
Yeah. I think I just need to figure something out, I think.
Okay. Well, take your time. It is only by changing the rules, by stepping outside of the system, that we can conceive new possibilities for livable lives. And a trickster queer ethos calls us to live within and embrace our contradictions. I guess I'll head out then. Good night, Cam.
Stella, wait. I need to. I can't.
What is it?
I can't. I can't. It's like I can't decide and get the words out into the world, and it's what I wanted coming here was just a good friend, and I'm afraid I don't want to risk losing you, but don't want to lose you, but you're the only person I felt connected to coming here. Like, what if I can't handle the closeness and I can't help you and I push away and I'm like, and I don't want to lose you and I don't, separation between the world and my brain and my mouth, and I can't. And I can get glimpses sometimes, but it's not. I don't want to lose you. I'm on a call and the mic is muted and I don't know what button, and I can't figure out what button to press to unmute and say something. I'm afraid I'm in a lighthouse and it's dark and I can see the ship that's about to run aground, and I'm looking for the way to turn on the lighthouse, but even if I found it, can't turn on the lighthouse in the ship. And it's like, if I talk, I'm afraid I'm gonna ruin it, but if I don't say anything, then I'm still can't, and I can't, and I can't, I don't know.
Cam, buddy, can you try something for me? Can you pick out 5 things that you can see?
The bracelet and the TV and cat mushroom, stickers, couch.
Nice. What about 4 things that you can hear?
Bracelets and you breathing, and the freeway, and the fridge running.
Awesome. What about 3 things that you can touch?
Bracelets again. You. Couch.
Nice. And do you have 2 things that you could smell?
Pizza. And the litter box.
Great. And what about 1 thing that you can taste?
Not the pizza.
Not the pizza. That's fair. Are you feeling at least a little bit better?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have to say anything, but I'm here for you. And I don't know what it is that you're going through exactly, but I'm here to hold space for you as long as you need it, okay?
Thank you, Stella.
And I stayed up, chain smoking in the kitchen till you got home and the curtains were on fire. Fuck, I'm sorry you feel all alone with the TV blasting shadows on my face. Hitching back to the apartment, it was such a lonely place. I place my head between my knees and think, do you ever have nights like these? So separated from my sense of self and the shit you keep up on your bookshelf.